Hey guys, really quick before we start the tutorial, I wanted to let you know today is my birthday, so I'm having my yearly sale. You get 43% off any course in my Teachable School using the coupon code HB43. Yep, I'm 43 years old this week. You can save 43% on any course now through Sunday, July 14th. Just enter the coupon code on checkout. So you can see that little orange button where it says add coupon. Click on that, put on the coupon code HB43, and it will take 43% off the class of your choosing, and this does work on payment plans as well. So check it out, and I can't wait to see you in class. Now, on to the tutorial. Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today we're going to do something really fun. A couple months ago, Stonehenge came out with black watercolor paper, and I had a few viewers ask me if I would review it or do a demo on it. So I went to the Stonehenge website and I saw they had a free sample offer, and I filled out the little form online, and they sent me this 5x7 sample of the paper. So I'll try to find if that offer is still available and link it down below if it is, and also link where you can purchase this on Amazon. It's about the same price as your normal cotton watercolor paper. So if it's something you like, if it's something I like, I might order some more of it, but I've never worked on this before. A couple weeks ago I shared this hot mess watercolor card that I painted. I wasn't happy with it, but many people said they'd really like a tutorial on it, so I thought, you know what, I'll do that on the black paper and then we can compare them versus the white paper. I've got a chalk pastel pencil here that I'm going to use to sketch. I've got my favorite metallic watercolors. These are the Paul Rubens, and here these are swatched out on black cardstock so you can see how bright and shiny and opaque they are. And this is what they look like on white, not as impressive. I thought that would be really nice. I'm going to go ahead and spray my palette before we go ahead and start sketching, so my paints will be activated and ready to go. Metallic paint usually takes a little more coaxing to get ready to go. And I also have my Arteza gouache ready to go in case I need some opaque watercolor. Now, because watercolor is transparent, your regular watercolor, it's not really going to show up on this black paper. So I decided I would go for something that would have a better likelihood of showing up. I'm going to start off sketching this hummingbird by making an oval, and that's for the body. And then I'm going to make a little kind of a flat shape off of that for the tail. They don't have very long tails. Then I am going to make a circle for the head, and I'm going to make a long pointy triangle for the beak. The feet are going to come out here at an angle, and it's going to be perched on a flower. And I don't need to draw the flower. I just need to get the stuff that's going to give me any sort of trouble. Not really trouble, but just give me a little bit of, planning. And now we're going to have one wing that's coming off at this angle. So he's just lighted on a branch. And I'm actually looking at the space around the hummingbird as I'm sketching this. So I'm getting that. This is going to be blurry, that wing. And then we've got this other wing coming out here. I know it doesn't look like much yet, but I just want to get the basic shapes down. Now, the nice thing with chalk is that, let's see, it's going to line up with the tail just about. The nice thing with chalk is that you can wipe it away with water and it will disappear. So you wouldn't want to put a ton of it because you don't want it to make a chalky sludge on your paper, but it's going to disappear on me, which is what I want. Okay. Now if I have any stuff outside of the lines, then I can go in with a soft white eraser, or even just a piece of chamois for the most part. That will usually wipe it off. I got a little chamois here, so I can wipe most of that right off. But if any remains, I can go in with a soft white eraser. Now, I haven't used this before. And I only have one piece of it, so I didn't have a piece to practice on. So you are getting my first impressions. I wouldn't call this a review because I don't believe that you can really fully review a product the first time you use it. You need to have a little experience, I think. So you can see, well, it erases really easily, so that's good. And I'm going to go ahead and grab a somewhat firm brush, a couple of firm brushes. I got about a number 6 round, I'd say, and a number 2 round. I don't want to introduce a ton of water because when you're dealing with the metallic paints, the more water you add, the more you're likely to kind of dilute it a little too much. I'm going to go in, let's see, what color? I think I'm going to go in with this color here. You can see it's ready to go. I'm going to add, oops, you know what? I want to put the eye in too so I don't fuss around with that too much. Make sure I have the shape of the head the way I want it. Okay. I want to have some green above the eye. In fact, I think I want that with a smaller brush. Ooh, that's kind of nice. So I've only used the white, I've only used the metallic watercolors on like black cardstock or black pastel paper. And the thing I can already tell with the watercolor paper, because it's sized, that paint is staying on top of the surface much better. Hopefully, yeah, you can see how shiny that is. I think that's really fantastic. Under the wing here, we're going to come back to the tail. Wow, that really stands up. I need to blot off that little drop of water. I just cleaned my office yesterday, and nothing is within reach because I've put everything away. So I have to keep reaching behind me and grabbing towels and whatnot. Okay, what else do we have? Do we have any more green? I probably should have. You know what? I will add green to make some of the little flowers here. Well, I have it on my brush anyway. Now I'm going to grab some blue. I want a nice, bright turquoisey color. These colors, the metallic watercolors really show up so much better on black than they do on white. So that would be this color right there. And these, I think I mentioned it, are the Paul Rubens metallic watercolors. They have a set of 24, which is what I have, and they also have a set of 12. So if you want to try them out and you didn't need as many colors, or you just want to try them out for less expense, that set of 12 is cheaper. It's about $50 for the set of 24. So it is a little pricey, but they're very slow wearing and they're just so vibrant. Okay, now I want to get some of that color up here on this wing, up along the ridge here. Just try not to add too much water to your paint because we are using it in an opaque fashion. And we'll add some up here on the ridge of this wing. There we go. I love how well it shows up. Now we also got a little bit of this on the beak. I've decided the beak was at a little bit wrong of an angle, so I am going to very carefully go in here and remove it. And I am going to replace it. And just very carefully keep your brush straight up and down where you're doing that, and try to lift it up as you go, and then you're going to get a much thinner, finer line. Now I don't really see too much of that blue as you work down, but I do want to have some there because I did have it on the other wing. Now something I noticed over here is that the wing, it got really blurry, and we also have some purple. So I think I'm actually going to paint the wing in. I'm going to use the other brush. So let me just, I don't want to waste that paint that's on there. We've established that it's expensive, so I'm just going to paint a couple little leaves while I've got that on my brush. I mean, man, it goes a long way too. It's so pretty. Many people ask me about the Finetech watercolor. I've never used it. I've never purchased it because I'm so happy with these, and I have so many. Like I have the Twinkling H2Os, which are beautiful on white paper. They don't stand up so much on the black. I just have so many options, and you know, they're so expensive. So they're more expensive than the Paul Rubens that I'm using here. So I'm going to wet this here because I do want it to blur, and I don't want it really opaque in this area. And I'm going to get some violet, some kind of like, oh, there's so many nice purples in this set. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of them. I think I'll start with this one. And I'm just going to turn my brush so I have, my paper so I have a little bit more comfortable of of a, you know, I might end up buying some of this paper because I'm really loving how pretty that is. I'm so glad. I just want to thank anybody out there who encouraged me to give this another try, because I was just like, yeah, I'm not painting that again. I do have a regular watercolor Hummingbird card on my channel if you are interested. Now up here, I do notice they're seem a little bit more distinct over here, so I'm going to go ahead and just add in some purple there. And oh, it's so pretty. You can look at my water things. I'm going to show you my dirty and clean water. Look, the paint is all on the paper for the most part. We're not wasting it in the water. I love that. Okay, there's this beautiful, like, it's almost like it's like a dark purple lame type glittery effect paint here, and here it is on black. I cannot stress enough, swatch your colors on white and black. Okay, if it's like an opaque watercolor or a metallic watercolor. So I'm going to get some of this in here as well. Such a nice effect. And I can kind of thin out that line a little bit. And I'm going to get some of that in here too. Now this color is a little bit more transparent, but it's got such a pretty effect to it. I'm surprised I haven't really needed to really mix. I've just been pretty much putting the color straight on the paper. And I want to bring some of this color down into the body. I think that'll be we're going to get some like kind of tawny colors in there too, but I think that color works really well as a base, because that way if we have any of the black showing through to have a little bit of that shimmer, I think works really well. And then also on the wing, I am seeing kind of some pearly white. I think I'll switch to my smaller brush. I'll make sure it's clean here. And let's see, I think I want just the regular pearl white. A little more water in there. And let's see, we've got kind of like, I'm paying attention to what stays darker on the wing. And I'm painting wet into wet because I do want it a little bit blurry. You want to work your paint until you kind of feel like it's a little creamy. It almost has like half and half, like, you know, if you put creamer in your coffee, that creamer, that half and half, that's like the texture that you want. Just that cream kind of texture. A little bit of white there on the tip. A little bit of white on the pantaloons here. I used to have a golden retriever, and he had such a fluffy butt. I used to call it her pantaloons because it was so fluffy. And put some little flicks in here where it's light. I think I'm gonna, even though this is not a ruby-throated hummingbird, that's the kind of hummingbirds we get around here. And I think I might put a little bit of red in, because I'm also gonna have the red in the flowers, like the pink in the flowers, so I think that might be kind of pretty. If your chalk lines look odd, you don't like them, re-sketch as you go with the pigment, okay? Don't feel like you have to follow it exactly. With this small brush, I really like this brush. This is just a number 2 Da Vinci Fit for School and Hobby. I think it's called a Nova. It came in a Smart Art box a few months ago. I'm grabbing this thing all the time. I really like this little brush. Da Vinci makes good brushes anyways. And I want to do a little highlight, even though like everything is just really highlighted because it's, you know, so bold. I just want to do a little bit of white on the tip of the beak. All right. Now I want to get some more of a black color. Do I have a black? I really don't have much of a black. I guess I might have to use gouache or ink or something for that, or just leave the paper. The paper is black, but it's not as black as like an ink would be, so just kind of keep that in mind. Oh, I also want to do a little bit more over there. I think I need maybe a little bit of blue. I'm going to try this one. This one's really pretty. I think it's a little bit more of a whitey blue. Like if I'm going to put a little bit in this one first just to see. Yeah, it's definitely got more pearl to it than like that blue. So you can have the mica, it can be colored, and sometimes it's like you've got a watercolor color mix, and then you've just got like a pearl mica in it, and sometimes you actually have a colored mica in the powder that's mixed in, that's making the color. And I want a little bit of this brighter blue in here too. If you've ever used Pearl X, you'll know what I'm talking about, because that's got that it's got that pearl in the mica. I'm going to use this kind of coppery bronze color here. Ooh, I think I might have a little bit too much water in there. So if you get too much water, just keep working your brush until it starts to drag and you can feel it's a little bit thicker. It just reconstitutes the paint underneath. And then I'm just going to do little flicks to get those kind of small, soft, furry feathers. I could probably even switch to a smaller brush. But I don't know if I'm going to. This one's pretty small. I don't usually use too many really small brushes. And start up near the wing and start flicking down as you go, because as your brush dries, you're going to get that texture. And you can get a little bit of that in here. Oh, that's pretty. I like that. And you can work some of this up into the wing. Let's see, where else? Maybe a little bit under the eye. Okay. I'm feeling like I need a little more green in here. I also feel like that wing needs to be a little bit longer, maybe. Go back in with this color. Just kind of drag it up a little bit. Let it fuzz out a little bit so it looks like it's a little bit more in motion. It is kind of a weird angle of wings. I think maybe that was why I was having such difficulty with it. And I'm going to try, let's see, I know I'm going to use some of these colors in the flowers, so I'd like to get some in the bird as well. That feels a little too wet. So just, again, keep working your brush in the paint. If you feel like it's just too wet, keep working the brush until it gets to the consistency that you want. And then if I'm going to add it, I'll add it in a few different places just so it doesn't seem to be weird. I want to add a little bit there. This is also going to be the color of my flowers. It's going to show up really nice. This is fun. I'm glad I decided to do this subject on the black. I think it works really well. I've got to be giving him a flower to be eating, getting the nectar from. I saw some very similar flowers to this when I was out walking the other day. Not sure what they are though. Leave some up here. I like how they printed the name on the sample so that I can, like, I won't forget what this was. Because I mean, you could do this on black cardstock if you don't have this paper. Because it's a 100% cotton watercolor paper, it's not going to be cheap. It's going to be, you know, about the same price as any other cotton watercolor paper. So you know what to expect. I'm going to grab some of this pink here. This is more of a glitter. So some of these colors are more pearl. Ooh, that's so pretty. Oh, I love it. Some of these colors are more pearl and some are more glitter. And you can kind of see here. It's hard to see on the white, but like, look, that's the color I'm using right now. That's more glittery. This is the color I was using. That's more pearl. That one's more glittery. That one's more pearl. That one's more glittery. Most of them are more pearly, but you do get a few of that kind of flashy lame glittery look, which those are not as opaque, but they, you know, when you use them with the pearls, they're just so gorgeous. They just have that beautiful kind of like foil feeling to them. And you can totally do this with gouache. Do this all with gouache if you wanted to. I just thought with hummingbirds, because they are a very shimmery bird, it would be really pretty. Actually, a lot of birds have that gorgeous shimmer in them. I thought that would be a really pretty effect. So now I'm going to go with a different green, one that's a little bit more pastel. think that's different than the one I originally used. I'm going to put a few stems in. I just think it's nice to vary it up a little bit. I mean, generally I like to mix all my colors when I'm doing watercolor, but we're not doing transparent watercolor on white paper. So like the reason we want to like limit our palette on white paper is because, you know, we want everything to cross-pollinate, we want everything to match really well. But when you're doing something like this, it's a little bit more experimental, and you don't have that white of the paper to help you out. You kind of want to take as many advantages as you can. So grabbing these crazy colors is actually really nice, a nice way to use it. I'm just doing some little round leaves. I see a lot of little round leaves. Okay, oh, I like that. All right, I do want to do something with some black, so I'm just going to go ahead. Oh shoot, I don't have black wash there. Ha! That's crazy. I don't have any black in that set. Do I have? I got black right here. Let me just give this a quick spray. Hopefully it'll activate quick enough. I do have ink right behind me, but I think I'd just rather use this. Keep it simple and use my gouache. Give it a little spritz. Generally, I like to spray my gouache like 5 minutes before I'm actually going to paint, but let's see how quickly this Arteza stuff will activate. And of course, you can use your gouache right from the tube. I think most artists do that, but I like the convenience. I don't, as you can see, I don't use black very often, so it's not my main palette. I have it in a separate container. And the reason I do gouache in containers or in really high-walled tackle boxes like this set here is because you can see how they kind of crack and crumble. You don't want them to all mix up, and then you have some big gouache soup that you won't be able to really use. So that's why I do it the way that I do it. So I'm just going to give because that is a little bit blacker. It's a little bit blacker than the paper. So I think I can actually go one step darker than what my darkest is, and I'm going to take advantage of that. So this paper is pretty black, but not quite as black. It's like a black pastel paper, really. And I want a little bit more on the feet. But this way you can at least go back in if you want to like get some of those little pin feathers on the face. Oh, I love that. That's so pretty. It's really hard to get a fine line here. I wish I realized that I didn't have black in there. There we go. And I think this would also be really pretty if you're doing any sort of like kind of Chinese brush style painting or sumi-e painting, because it just, I think it would really lend itself well to that. That's a great way to get your details in. One thing I don't like about the reference photo I'm using is that it looks like the bird has kind of a hunchback, and I don't like it, so I am kind of minimizing that on mine a little bit. So, you know, your reference photo, don't be a slave to it, do your thing. If you want to change it up a little bit, go right ahead. It's your painting. I want to get a little bit here in the tail, under the tail area. You get some good texture with this too, just kind of dry brushing a little bit. And building a little bit more definition there. I'm going to go grab a little bit more of that blue. I think I overdid it with the black a little bit there. I think this was the blue that we were using. And just kind of give it, oh gosh, I had too much water on my brush. So if that happens, I'm just going to try to like touch a little section of the paper towel in there and soak up the water. I don't want to smudge everything out. I'll dry my brush off completely and then go back in and try to get some more pasty paint. And try that again. Reshape the head. It's a little more forgiving than working on white watercolor paper. You know, with transparent watercolors, I will say. Ooh, I like that. This is fun. I might have to get some of that paper. It's pretty awesome, actually. I hope that free offer is still going. You guys can give it a try. If not, I did check. It is available on Amazon, so it should be available wherever you are. You should be able to find it somewhere. Okay, I'm just going to add little bits of little flicks of color. I kind of want to spatter. I think we'll do a little spattering here before I do my final touches. I need a little bit looser of a brush for that. Let's try this one here. And let's spatter some pinks. Let's do that glittery pink here. Let's give a little spritz of water to make it juicy enough. Ooh, I like that so much. I think I want to do some green as well. Let's see, let's do this one. We could do some blue too, and then it could be kind of rainy looking. Because the hummingbirds do come out in the rain. I see my son run our feeder in the rain the other day. Oh, I love it. Oh, this was fun. I really enjoyed this. I think for just a little detail, I will use a white paint pen. I've been using a Posco extra fine white paint pen as opposed to a gel pen for the past few months, and I really like it. Where did mine go? That's a good question. Here we go. And give this a good shake here. Make sure all that pigmenty goodness is all dispersed. I'm going to test it on the back of my swatch here just to make sure. Yes, we are good to go. And let's see, get a little bit of a highlight on the eye. I feel like there we go. Sometimes I feel like I don't get a very good, I don't get, like, it doesn't come out opaque right off the bat unless I've been using it. I probably should let this dry first, but I'm impatient. This is fun. All right, yeah, and there you have it. I will add in a photo of this dry so you can have a look at it. This was so much fun. I encourage you to try something like this. You know, if you don't have this paper, try just whatever black paper you have, whatever metallic watercolors you have. Here you can see, I mean, even on this cardstock swatch, I'm still getting bright colors, so I think that that you could do this on any black cardstock that's pretty sturdy. But this watercolor paper was a lot of fun, and I'm glad I tried it out, and I think I'll probably end up getting some more of it. Thank you so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up before you go, and until next time, happy crafting!